I need you to watch something. I need you to watch a United States Cabinet Secretary confirmed by the Senate, sworn in, responsible for the safety of every single American, sit in front of Congress and refuse to answer a yes or no question. Not a complicated question, not a trick question, a yes or no question. And what does she do? She calls it tabloid garbage and acts like she is the victim. This is Kristi Noem. This is the United States Congress. And this is the most embarrassing thing I have seen come out of Washington in a long time. And trust me, that is saying something. Let's talk about who we're dealing with here. Kristi Noem, Secretary of Homeland Security. You know what that department does? It was created after September 11th, after almost 3,000 Americans were killed on a single morning. It exists for one reason, to make sure that never happens again. 260,000 employees every single day protecting this country. And at the top of all of that, Kristi Noem. Now, enter Corey Lewandowski, Trump political operative, special government employee, White House attached. And the question hanging over this entire hearing, was there a personal relationship between Noem and Lewandowski? A romantic one? And was that relationship affecting decisions at the top of the most important security agency in the United States? That is the question. Simple, direct, serious. So what does Kristi Noem do when Congress asks her about it?
So, Secretary Noem, at any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
Reclaiming
and
my
ma'am,
time.
one thing that I would tell you is that he is a special government employee who works for the White House. There are thousands of them in the federal government.
So, reclaiming my time, Secretary, it is okay for you to be offended by the question. It is okay for you to be offended by the question. But it is also a real question.
So what I would say
and
to
you should be able to
is
answer
that
the
what
question
we do at the Department of Homeland Security every single
and without
day,
any hesitation,
every single day is to protect
if
this
someone
country
is
and
asking
to make
if
decisions.
you or any federal official is sleeping with their subordinate. That should be the easiest. You should be wanting to answer that question.
Is garbage?
Because it is not about
It is
your sex
offensive
life.
that you have brought
it is
that up.
about your judgment.
That kind of garbage
It is
has
about
been refuted
reclaiming
for
my
years,
time so
and
that
you
I
need
can
to
hear myself
recognize-
share.
That is what she said. Not, no. Absolutely not. There is no relationship, and here is why your concern is unfounded. Not, I understand why this looks bad, and let me address it directly. No. Tabloid garbage. How dare you ask me that? Let me tell you something. When someone asks you a yes or no question, and your answer is to attack the question, you have not answered the question. You have just told everyone in the room exactly what they needed to know. And here is the part that should make your blood boil. This is not gossip. This is not a tabloid. This is a national security question. Her department had already sent out an internal bulletin to law enforcement partners, warning that the current conflict could inspire lone actors. Cyber attacks inside the United States. Her own department said American lives are at risk right now, and the person responsible for protecting those lives cannot tell Congress clearly, directly, without a speech, whether her personal relationships are clouding her judgment. Think about that. Think about the agent working a case right now who answers to Noem. Think about the analyst tracking a threat who reports up her chain. They need to know the person at the top is making decisions based on facts and security, not based on who she is sleeping with. And she gave them nothing. She gave America nothing. She came to that hearing with one goal: survive it, get out, run the clock. And she did exactly that. That is not leadership. That is cowardice dressed up in a blazer. But wait, because I told you both sides were going to get it today. And I meant it. Let's talk about Congress, specifically the congresswoman who asked that opening question. Because here's the thing. She was right to go after Noem. Completely right. This is a conflict of interest issue. This is a national security concern. That is a legitimate line of questioning. But have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski? That is how you open a hearing? That is your first question? Look, I get it. It gets attention. It generates a clip. It ends up on every news channel by 6 p.m. Mission accomplished. But you just handed Kristi Noem the easiest escape route in the history of Washington. The second that question came out, Noem could lean back, say tabloid garbage, and suddenly she looked like the reasonable one. In a room where she should have been on the defensive for the entire hearing, you had her. You had a compromised cabinet secretary sitting right in front of you. You had documented evidence of a potential conflict of interest at the highest level of national security. And you opened with the sex question. That is not accountability. That is a press release pretending to be oversight. If you genuinely believed, and the evidence suggests you should, that Noem's relationship with Lewandowski was affecting decisions at DHS, then come with documents. Come with a paper trail. Come with the decisions that were made that should not have been made. Come with receipts. Do not come with a question that makes you the headline instead of her. Because now the story is not Noem cannot account for her judgment. The story is Democrats ask inappropriate question in hearing. You did that. You gave her that. And she walked right through the door you opened.
Time belongs to the gentlelady from California, but it'd be nice if you would let her respond.
I will. I want to let you know it is about your judgment and decision-making. It is about the 260,000 employees that work under you that want to make sure that you are giving information and making decisions clearly. It is about conflict of interest. It is about a national security risk. Department of Homeland Security was created right after 9/11 to protect the homeland. And DHS has circulated an internal bulletin to law enforcement partners warning that the conflict of the war we're in could inspire lone actors or small-scale cyber activity inside the United States, according to a memo obtained by ABC News. So American lives are at risk. The people who work for you are at risk. And they want to know that the person at the top, you, are making decisions clearly, without any sort of cloudiness, and that they're your decisions because you're the secretary who was confirmed. That's what this is about. Saving the lives of Americans and not costing them millions of dollars and not having a secretary who's compromised in her decision-making.
Okay, so you just watched that. And here is the thing. That part, that was actually good. That was the substance. That was what the entire hearing should have looked like. 260,000 employees. National Security Bulletin. Compromised decision-making. American lives at risk. That is the argument. Right there. Clear. Documented. Serious. So why did it take that long to get there? Why did we have to sit through the circus first? Because this is Washington in 2026. And in Washington in 2026, the clip comes before the country. Nobody in that room woke up that morning thinking, how do I actually fix this problem? They woke up thinking, how do I win today? Noem wanted to survive the hearing. She won. The Congresswoman wanted a viral moment. She got one, just not the one she wanted. And the 260,000 people working at DH, the Americans whose safety depends on that department functioning properly, they got nothing. Not one concrete outcome, not one document subpoenaed, not one answer on record, just a clip, just a fight, just another day in Washington where powerful people perform for cameras while the country sits and watches. And here is the part that nobody wants to say out loud. Noem did not get to that chair by accident. She was confirmed by the Senate. After a public record that raised serious questions, after a book where she bragged about shooting her own dog, after years of decisions that should have disqualified her from running anything more important than a press conference. And the Senate looked at all of that and said, confirmed, because she was loyal, because she was on the right team, Because in Washington, loyalty matters more than competence, and always has. So yes, Noem is the problem in that hearing room. But she is not the problem. She is just the latest symptom of a system that stopped working for regular Americans a long time ago. A system where nobody is actually accountable, where hearings are theater, where the people who are supposed to protect you are too busy protecting themselves. That is the real scandal. Not the sex question, not the deflection, the fact that this is just Tuesday in America. So here's what I want you to do. Next time you watch a congressional hearing, any hearing, ask yourself one question. Is anyone in this room actually trying to fix something? Or is everyone just trying to win the day? Because until the answer to that question changes, this is what you get. A cabinet secretary who cannot answer yes or no. A Congress that turns oversight into entertainment, and a country that deserves so much better than both of them. Share this video, because people need to see what is actually happening. Subscribe, new video every week, and leave a comment. Do you think Noem should still be running DH? Tell me below.